Good morning. Just a reminder, a daily, well, I don't say this daily, but it is a reminder that I am not a journalist. I'm just a guy who talks about shit on the internet, and I've got a lot to talk about today. Yes. Can you smell it? What the dog has cooking. Someone, was that Necrosol who put that out there? That was funny. I found that quite humorous. Thank you, Necrosol, for that. It's Jussie Wednesday. We definitely have a Jussie update. We have an update on the evening or yesterday in politics. And I am just, hopefully I get through it all today, but we'll see what happens. Good morning. Play the intro. Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way, but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, yours truly, PDawg Night. Stop the music. Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. And it is Funky Wednesday. Yes, it is Funky Wednesday because I said I'd bring back the funk on Wednesdays. So there we go. That's what you're going to hear in the background for the rest of the show. And we do have lots of news today. Good morning. It's February 12th, 2020, on the Morning Night Live with your host, yours truly, PDawg Night. And, oh my goodness. So, I'm gonna, as in the immortal words of Philip DeFranco, let's just jump right into it. Yes, the New Hampshire primaries last night, and if you read my description, I said it was a tie. Now, I'm sure some of the people who support Bernie Sanders, when they see that description, if they see that description, they're going to be like, wait a minute, Bernie won. Well, in all actuality, yes, Bernie won the most votes in New Hampshire, but from a delicate count standpoint, Bernie and Pete Buttigieg, it's Buttigieg. I keep saying it wrong. It's Buttigieg, like edge twice. Buttigieg. Bernie Sanders and Pete Reparation coffee in hand. Bernie Sanders and Pete Buttigieg tied as far as how many delegates they get out of New Hampshire. Both are walking away with 9 delegates. There was just under 2,000 people, different votes. Like Bernie, I think, had 62,000 some votes, and Buttigieg had 64,000 and 62,000, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's a tie as far as how the Democratic Party sees it when they go into their next little, whatever you call it, moving on into the ether that is the Democratic presidential nomination. Now, unfortunately, though, I do have some sad news. And again, I don't know. The music doesn't really reflect how sad this is, but, oh, man. We have 2 more people who've dropped out of the race, and I got a feeling there's going to be a couple more after South Carolina. But unfortunately, our good friend, Mr. $1,000 a month, Andrew Yang, and Michael Bennet, and I know some of you are going, who the hell is Michael Bennet? But yes, he was running for president. Andrew Yang and Michael Bennet have both dropped out of the race. And yes, I am so sad because Andrew Yang was kind of entertaining. I don't think he'd make a good president. In fact, I think might be more of a communist than Bernie Sanders. And I know. I shouldn't be calling Bernie Sanders a communist, but in socialist, communist socialist, social democrat. I don't know what to call Bernie Sanders. He wants to take money from some people and give it to other people, and he wants to make it his job and the government's job to do that. And I just don't care. I don't want him to do that. I think that's a bad idea. And I think we've learned that from many, many other societies. And so, whatever. But anyway, yes, Andrew Yang, Michael Bennet have left the race for the presidential nomination for the Democratic Party. I know you're all devastated. I know all you Yang gangers out there. Here's the thing about the Yang gangers, though. I don't think the Yang gangers were necessarily invested in the Democratic Party. I don't know that there's those Yang ganger people are necessarily going to go to any particular candidate. And in fact, I bet some of them could even go back to Trump, because I know there were a lot of people who were big on Trump in 2016 who were just like, yeah, I kind of like this Andrew Yang guy, kind of like a lot of them like Tulsi Gabbard too. Now, I like Tulsi Gabbard, but she's Bernie Sanders with a hair streak, right? And people, it's funny because a lot of the Democrats, a lot of the progressives just can't stand Tulsi Gabbard. You got to remember, Tulsi Gabbard left the Democratic National Committee because she was mad about how Bernie Sanders was treated in 2016, and she remained on Bernie Sanders' team throughout the rest of the primaries. So I just never understood this thing and why the progressives hate Tulsi Gabbard so much. But whatever, not all of them do. There's certain ones like like Jimmy Dore and Tim Black. They're on the internet, they're on the YouTube. They still think highly of Tulsi Gabbard, but a lot of the progressives just hate her. And a lot of people are calling her Russian, and also a lot of the establishment. A lot of the establishment Democrats hate her. All the Hillary people. And I think it's because she did stay loyal to Bernie Sanders. And so a lot of the establishment Democrats are trying to call her the Russian bot and all that stuff. But anyway, Tulsi Gabbard's a hardcore conformist. I don't know what that means. Check your logic. But anyway. Oh, hey, by the way, I actually should say good morning to everybody. I didn't do that yet. So let's say hello to my guests in the chat who are here on this beautiful Jussie Wednesday. Let's say hello. So good morning, first of all, to Jaeger Pony, who's in the chat, who was here first and gets the bell. Good morning, Mr. Scott J, Shia Grath, Attack Alpaca, Decrasol Collins, Cynical Lindsay, Tyler F, Check Your Logic. Who have I hit here? Peter Allman, good morning. Maddie from the House of Geek. And Francis Lancer, hey, nice to have you around. I said Attack Alpaca already. Okay, that's everyone. Oh, Jedi Ghost Bear also. Good morning. Merle Davis, how you doing? Merle Davis? Who is Merle Davis? Hello, Merle Davis. If you're new here, I'm glad you're here. If I've already said that 7 times on other days, please excuse me. I have the memory of a 55-year-old man, which is what I am. And also, but if you're new, hey, anyone in the chat who's new, please make sure you subscribe and hit the bell to make sure that you get notifications. Also, good morning to Chicago Mike. Oh, yes, I see. If the noose doesn't fit, you must quit. Yeah, we'll get into Jussie, I promise. Well, that may have been a poor choice of wording, but anyway, we will talk to him. Good morning, also, Renovasio. Comments getting deleted. Thanks, YouTube, for keeping everyone safe from non-conforming comments. You know what? The beauty of YouTube and I'm trying to figure out what word Renovasio. Hello, Renovasio, by the way. Try and figure out what word exactly it is that they are deleting. I know that some. Hey. No, that's not what I said, Chick. That's not my way of saying I am kind of a boomer. I am here from a what's a good word for it? From a not social science standpoint, but from just a popular culture standpoint, I am the cusp, or the very thin transition from a boomer to a Gen Xer, because I'm born in one of those couple years that some people call them boomers and some people call them Gen Xers. There's that little cross point right there, they do that, and there's that, and there's this little space right here when you're like that. That's what I am officially. Now, honestly, I have the soul of a 24-year-old. Anyway, all right, boomer adjacent. There you go. I am boomer adjacent. Good words, Mr. Scott. All right, now, anyway, let's get into some other news. Let's talk about the New Hampshire primaries just a little bit. Now, Breitbart is really all over this stuff, and I know some people don't like Breitbart, but it's just how it is. Hello, Smarty Bear. Lurk away, my little friend. I'm just trying to think of words to put into that tune, and little friend kind of showed up. I'm sorry, that's just kind of how it ended up. Hello, Chi-Town J. Also, wait, I got a couple thank yous too before I move on. Thank you, Tim Gersh, Maddie House of Geek, Ziptide, Necrosalt Collins, all of you who have already tweeted out the show. If you haven't done that, or if you're on Twitter, great. Hit the Twitter button down there and repeat the show. In fact, what I'll do, let me put my old notification out here, because I suppose I should do that. If you follow me on Twitter, that would be at PDawg Night, the same way I spell it on the channel. Also, here we go. Here's the tweet of the day from me. If you want to retweet this, or you want to make up your own tweet, like a lot of you often do. Also, if you can't do that, hey, hit the share arrow down below. You can share this on Facebook, Tumblr, what are all those things? All those places that are social media sites. You can choose the one you want. 3 clicks and it'll share the show out. And also, please, if you like what we do, hit the like button at some point during the show. That little thumbs up, except for Duck Dog likes to hit the thumbs down, and that's fine. He let me know that he does that. And also, if you want to be a permanent marker in the show, if you want to be in the replay, if you want to make sure that your comment is heard, you can do that via the super chat system in the Streamlabs link, which shows up in the chat and is in the description down below at my website, pdawgnight.live. So, I think I got all the shilling out. Metal Monday, Taco Tuesday. Okay, so also Ziptie, thank you for the suggestions on music. It is Funky Wednesday, also known as Jussie Wednesday, because I do my Jussie updates on Wednesdays. And Jussie gave me an update yesterday, so I got one today. We'll get to it later, but Metal Monday, Taco Tuesday, Marimba, Wacky Wednesday, Theremin Thursday, Synth, and Funky Friday. We might change funk to Funky Fridays, but it is all it is. Hashtag @DuckDog abuses PDawg. Okay, kind of. All right, so here we go. Let's get into it. Because I'm just babbling away here. So, as you know, Bernie Sanders won the New Hampshire primary on Tuesday. But according to Breitbart, he fell short of his 2016 performance. Sanders, who has been leading in the polls ahead of the first in the nation primary, not to be confused with caucus, keep your caucus to yourself, only bested former South Bend Mayor Pete Buttigieg by less than 2 percentage points when the race was called, with 80% of the precincts reporting. Sanders beat Buttigieg, guarding more than 64,000 to the former mayor's less than 62,000, which is about a 2,000 or 2,500, whatever difference. The numbers stand in stark contrast to 2016, when the Vermont septuagenarian bested former. I saw that, Red Abaccio. Okay. Bested former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton by double digits in New Hampshire. In that contest, Sanders garnered more than 152,000 votes compared to just a little over 95,000 for Clinton. Overall, Sanders carried New Hampshire by more than 22 percentage points during that cycle. The 2016 victory is made possible by high turnout and little competition, two luxuries Sanders did not have this time around. According to exit polls conducted by NBC News, turnout appeared to be lower across New Hampshire than in prior presidential primary cycles, which is really weird because this is supposed to be the year that everyone hates Trump and the turnout's going to be great for Trump, for the anti-Trump, and there's lots of different candidates to support, and yet the turnout for the primaries in New Hampshire were quite a bit lower than they were last election cycle. So that can't be a good sign for the Democrats. I'm just saying, is their enthusiasm not there? And also, think about this. This is New flippin' Hampshire, like Cow Hampshire, right next to, what's that state that Bernie Sanders is from? Oh yeah, Vermont, right next door. You would think that Bernie would have the edge, like big time. And yet, with a lower turnout and more competition, Bernie doesn't seem to, well, he won, but then again, he still only gets the same number of delegates as Pete. They both are going to get 9 delegates at the Democratic National Convention out of this. So really, it's a tie. And that's why I said in my title today, this is a tie. Okay, this is a tie. It's not, sure, psychologically it's a win for Sanders and the Bernie Bros. And the Bernie Bros, oh my God, they are so excited on Twitter, man. They are just fired up. They're like, yeah. I don't think they realize that winning New Hampshire doesn't mean a lot. Now, granted, Bernie Sanders still leads in polls based on the candidates who are in the race. Okay, but remember now, and the weird thing is, Amy Klobuchar, the boring ass senator from my state, came in third in this New Hampshire primary. It's really, I don't get it, man. Although maybe she's fairly establishment. She actually, I thought her speech in that at the end of the debate was actually pretty good. I think that might have impressed some people, but I don't know. She's just I just, okay, let's put it this way. Amy Klobuchar, when she became a senator in the United States Senate, decided that the United States of America, one of the priorities of the United States of America, not her state, not her local municipality, but the United States of America needed to put a law in place regarding swimming pool drains. Okay. Now, a federal law about swimming pool drains. Now, granted, it was because of a couple of sad incidents where kids were caught in swimming pool drains, and it's a bad problem when it happens. But it's extremely rare. I think there's been 2 or 3 cases in the last 20 years, but two happened in the same year, and so she felt that there should be a federal law for that. And I'm like, you know what? You don't need a federal law for everything. You can, I don't know. Anyway, she thinks that's the job of the United States government to micromanage certain aspects of your life. But anyway, boy, is that a tangent. Anyway, the 2016 victory has made it possible. Oh, I already did that. Complicating matters for Sanders is that the same exit poll showed that half of New Hampshire primary voters found his positions too liberal, and only 40% thought they were a good fit. Okay, that's that Breitbart article. The next one I have here. And then there's Joe Biden. Joe Biden came in 5th in New Hampshire. Now, remember, Joe Biden was supposedly the leading candidate of the Democrats. We're talking Joe Biden, vice president of the beloved and venerable Barack Obama presidency. And he could, in Iowa, I think he came in like 4th or 5th, and now in New Hampshire he's coming in 5th again. He's going to have to wait till South Carolina and Super Tuesday, but I don't know if he's going to last that long. But anyway, Joe Biden delivers a gaffe-ridden, defiant message after New Hampshire blowout. Former Vice President Joe Biden, well, he just said that. Speaking to supporters in South Carolina, where he retreated after defeat in New Hampshire, was but assured on Monday. The former vice president remained defiant that his White House prospects were still very much credible. Hi, John Connor, how you doing? And good morning, Duck Dog. Tonight, this is Joe Biden. Tonight, we heard from from the first of 2 of 50 states. Not all of nation. Okay, I'm reading this verbatim, the quote. And I'm going to try this again because it's a little hard to read because of the way Joe Biden structured these sentences. Tonight, we just heard from the first 2 of 50 states. Not all of nation. Not a quarter of the nation, but 2, Biden said. Now, where I come from, that's the opening bell, not the closing bell. I don't think he put a bell in there, but I did. Despite the confident tone, the former vice president quickly tripped himself up with a gaffe, claiming that although Iowa and Nevada have spoken, his campaign planned to vigorously contest the next series of primaries. The gaffes, however, did not end there. While extolling his support among black voters, Biden claimed his former running mate, Barack Obama, had defeated an incumbent president in 2008. The 77-year-old former vice president said, quote, all of those Democrats won against incumbents, from Jimmy Carter to a guy named Clinton and a guy named Obama, my good friend. And guess what? They had overwhelming African-American support. Without it, nobody's ever won. Now, he's assuming that he has great African-American support. Now, he kind of does, but also I think so does Bernie among African-American Democrats. Bernie has a lot of African-American support. Now, Buttigieg, nah, he does not. He's trying, though. He kind of puts all of his black people front and center when he does, but you know what? I think Bernie and Joe Biden are competing have been competing over who has the most blacks. Oh, anyway, Biden delivers remarks shortly after the polls closed in New Hampshire, where his campaign cratered. Although the results have yet to be finalized, the former vice president was firmly in 5th place. Oh, MC, how you doing? It's camera time. I've been waiting for that. I've been waiting to do that. Hello, MC. I'm so proud of myself. Okay, yeah, and his fourth place in the Iowa caucuses too. Those losses, coupled with Biden's looming cash crunch, has led many to speculate that former vice president's campaign is fading, with South Carolina likely to either be a firewall or a last stand. Biden himself admitted as much on Tuesday. So there you go. Yeah, so he might not be hanging in there. I don't think Elizabeth Warren, I'm not sure how long she's going to last. I'm just saying. However, President Trump had a great primary in New Hampshire. Now, what do you mean, PDawg, when you say that President Trump had a great primary in New Hampshire? Well, let me tell you what that means. One more time for Hammer. Hammer time. That's Brimsey. Hello, Straight Sith Male. How you doing? All right. President Trump did not have a serious primary challenger for 2020, but Republican voters came out in droves to support him in the Republican New Hampshire primary. With 86% reporting, Trump earned 117,462 votes in the New Hampshire Republican primary, more than twice the 49,080 primary voters who voted for former President Barack Obama in the New Hampshire primary in 2012. Enthusiasm for Donald Trump is through the roof, wrote Trump's campaign manager Brad Barkley on Twitter. Let's see. President Trump has surpassed the New Hampshire primary vote total of every incumbent president running for re-election over the last 4 decades, he wrote on Twitter on Tuesday night as the New Hampshire primary results came in. Here's the record for previous presidents. Donald Trump in 2020. This is before they added more totals. 110,000 roughly. Obama 49,000. Bush just under 53,000. Clinton 76,000. So there were a lot more enthusiasm for Clinton too. Trump appeared pleased with the numbers. Of course he did. Wouldn't a big story be that I got more New Hampshire primary votes than any incumbent president in either party in the history of that great state? Now, we don't know if it's the history, but at least we know the last 4 decades. Trump wrote on Twitter, not an insignificant fact. He also thanked Pascal for running a record turnout. So anyway, he definitely, hello, Maniac Man. That's pretty impressive that, especially in New Hampshire, I'm just saying. In fact, I mean, if you, let's see, 117,000. Okay, never mind. I was going to say something that was incorrect. It was 120K this morning when you woke up, John Connor. So yeah, I haven't seen the latest totals. These were from last night. Let's see. What's this one? Oh, Bernie is officially the Democratic frontrunner, and Biden flees New Hampshire disgrace. For the first time ever, Sanders leads in national polling average. So anyway, yeah, Bernie's the frontrunner now. Now, the problem is, as these establishment Democrats start leaving the race, I think you're going to see Buttigieg, Klobuchar, and possibly Biden, if he can last, will bump up a little bit. I think Bernie's support is always going to be, well, if he's still there when it's all over, we'll vote for him. But he's not even anybody's second. I can't imagine he's a whole lot of people's second choice. In fact, I'll tell you about this Gallup poll in a second. Yeah, Biden and Warren are both dead as a doornail. Biden's only rationale, this is I'm reading Jedi Ghost Bear. Biden's only rationale is that he's electable. Iowa and New Hampshire said, yeah, no. Warren's rationale is that she has an answer for everything, but she don't. No, she does not. Absolutely not. She has an answer for everything. Now, if that answer is coherent and feasible, that's a whole different story. And I'm just saying. But yeah, she's got a plan for everything. Until you ask her, how does that plan work exactly? How's that actually going to work? And then she comes up with some convoluted nonsense. The only platform is, they all pretend to do. Their only platform is free shit with added gulags for reps, cons for Bernie. Yeah, I don't know. Are they going to figure out that I gotta figure that some people are going to figure out that when they keep saying that everything's going to be free, that they're going to have to be paying for it with something besides all those billionaires' dollars, because those billionaires don't have enough dollars to pay for all the shit you all are talking about. And I hate to break this to you. Here's the thing. Even the simple thing about healthcare. I know there's a whole lot. Everyone likes to talk about healthcare. And healthcare is a right. Well, first of all, I personally am not in that healthcare is a right category. I think you have a right to access healthcare, but it is your responsibility. It's your responsibility to make sure that you have some sort of healthcare, of somehow. And we do have that safety net for people who can't afford, who just are down on their luck, whatever. But I've seen so many people, not so many people, but I've seen some people who, Well, they don't get health insurance because they can't afford it, right? They don't want to pay for health insurance, but they have all these other things. They go on vacation every year. They go, same thing with like college loans. The people who, maybe don't go on 3 vacations a year and don't, buy the 65, maybe buy the 45-inch TV instead of the 65-inch TV because they're saving some of that money for whatever and they're doing other things. And then they have this catastrophic thing and they're like, well, you should have healthcare for all. You should have free healthcare. Well, who the hell, do the people you get healthcare from, do you think they should give it to you for free? Because if healthcare is a right, then they should just give it to you for free, right? Well, who the hell wants to just do work for you for free? And I know people, Lindsay, you're right there. You don't have a right to someone else's labor. You don't have, you don't have a right to my time. If I spent 8 years, 4 years in school, then another 4 years in medical school, then another 4 years residency, then another 2.5 years in a specialty, so that because I want to be able to help people, but also this is what my career is going to be. And now you want me to do it for free, or you want someone else to pay for it for you. I get it that we have to have some kind of a health safety net. There is a benefit to being able to take care of the poorest of the poor and at least having some basic services of healthcare for those people. But why do we have to pay for, why do I have to pay for example, here it is. Here's a good example. Healthcare is free, right? Healthcare is going to be free. Okay. Donald Trump Jr. needs an operation, and I think your tax dollars should pay for it. Right? Ask them that. Hey, now granted, they probably already do because some, government employee. Is he a government employee? I don't even know. No, Donald Trump Jr. is not part of the administration. But Barron Trump's the son of the president. I don't know. Think of Rush Limbaugh's grandson in Cape Girardeau, Missouri. I think your tax dollars should pay for his health care. That's what you're asking me to do, right? Wait a minute. I think his grandfather has plenty of money, right? But no, we should pay for that. Also, you know what? We should also pay for Rush Limbaugh's grandson's school, his college, because, like the free college thing, that even gets me even more. Why is it that you think college should be free? Why do you think college should be free? Because first of all, we already have free primary and secondary education, right? We have from kindergarten to high school, we already have that, and yet only about, what is it, like 70% of kids graduate nationwide from high school? So they're already not taking advantage of that, but so now we should take all, and this will get them. If you're ever having this argument, why should I pay for a bunch of privileged white kids to go to college? That would get them, I believe. I think so. Don't you think? Would have that conversation with your favorite progressive that you like to argue with? Because it kind of is. It's like, and what schools should be free? Which schools should be, maybe just the state schools, so Harvard and Northwestern and University of Chicago and Stanford private, or Stanford is part of the California schools. I think Stanford's private. So just the public schools should be free? Oh my God, who's paying for all this shit? I don't know. Anyway, all right, let's see here. Oh, by the way, good morning to other people who showed up this morning. RVA, how you doing? Hi, Becca, how you doing? And the gayest person on YouTube is here. Also, Seamus Derby. I don't think I've said your name yet. If I have, it's because I have that brain going right now. Anyway, okay, on the tangent again. Let's get off the tangent. So anyway, yeah. Bernie's your front runner now, in theory. It'll be interesting. I think here's what's going to happen. Hello, Gazira Lane. I knew people in the hospital. Most doctors aren't there to heal people. It's for the money. They are basically merchants of death. Ooh, that's. I don't know about that. My kid's grandmother is a doctor, and she was there to help people. Anyway, but she made money, good money doing it. Hey, here's what's gonna happen. See, now Klobuchar is finally rising in the ranks. Buttigieg has gone from obscurity to being one of the front runners. Bernie has a solid base of very loyal, active supporters. And Biden could come back from the dead in South Carolina. I think he could. Guess what? You know who else shows up once we get past South Carolina? Mayor Michael Bloomberg. Michael Bloomberg, the Mr. Stop and Frisk himself, but I think he might lose a little. He might lose a little edge because of that part, but I think he's spending enough money around the country that his name recognition is going to be enough that people who don't go on Twitter, which is 90% of the country, aren't even going to know about his little issue with Stop and Frisk and the so-called Bloomberg's a racist thing, which, you know, the shit he said was kind of in a way, if you ask me. But hey, Tom Steyer, I forgot about Tom Steyer. Yeah, the two billionaires and the rest of the pack, I think they're, you know, Bloomberg doesn't care. Bloomberg can spend his money as long as he wants to and has enough money where he can stay in as long as he wants and keep running ads, and I think he's just there. I think Bloomberg is not there to become president. I really don't. I think Bloomberg just wants to be able to run ads against Donald Trump, and that's his only thing. He's willing to put $2 billion behind any candidate who is in the race. He's strictly there to be anti-Donald Trump, and by being a candidate, he can do that as much as he wants. He can stay in as long as he wants. He doesn't have to win a damn thing, and he can still run his stupid ads. Hello, Jay Wolf. How you doing? Did I miss anybody? I haven't so far. I think I've gotten everybody so far. So here's the thing, though. So you got Bernie. Finally actually wins a state, although he only tied if you go by delegates, and he's going into South Carolina. I can't imagine. Now they say that he's leading the polls in South Carolina and the Super Tuesday states. I don't buy that at all. I don't think that the Democrats in South Carolina are look. All you have to do is label Bernie a socialist, and that's it's true, at least. If you look at his record and what he's planning, I don't know if he's going to do as well in South Carolina as everybody thinks. I think Biden could come back from the dead. I think you're going to have a very, very contentious Democratic race from here on out. I don't think you're going to see a lot of these people drop out. Warren might drop out. I think Amy Klobuchar is buoyed by the fact that she's coming third in New Hampshire. I think Buttigieg has basically tied Bernie in the first two states, and he'll have a kick in for a while. I think what's going to happen is they're going to get to the Democratic National Convention, and we're going to have a brokered convention, and Hillary Clinton will be your new presidential nominee. I couldn't say it with a straight face. I tried. Hillary Clinton's going to be the nominee. I don't know. I have no idea what to think. I think Bernie will be the nominee, and Trump will survive the second attempt at impeachment before the election, and we'll have another Nixon-McGovern situation in 2020, where Trump not only wins the electoral college, but he'll win the popular vote and run probably 48 states. if it's Bernie. If it's Bernie, Trump wins 48 states. That's my prediction, and the popular vote. That's my prediction. He'll lose California, and Minnesota. No, California. Now he'll lose California and New York. Oh, and Hawaii. He'll lose 3 states. California, New York, and Hawaii. He'll win the rest. If that happens. Even shocker, Illinois, he'll win. If Bernie Sanders is the nominee. And here's the thing. The state of Virginia. Did you hear about this? Why am I still in here? The state of Virginia just passed it's passed the House. It hasn't passed their Senate yet. But they're looking to pass one of those stupid national, what do they call it? The national popular vote laws in Virginia, where instead of their delegates going to whoever they vote for, who their citizens vote for, they're going to give their electors to whoever wins the national popular vote. So let's say Virginia, for example. Let's say Virginia, the state, the voters vote for, say, Bernie Sanders, right? But Trump wins the popular vote. Virginia will have to give their electors in the Electoral College to Donald Trump. Which would be hilarious. I don't know why any state wants to give up their power as far as the Electoral College. The Electoral College, I have friends who hate the Electoral College. Everyone's talking about, well, you should be by the popular vote. No! We are not a democracy, and I do not want mob rule. I do not want mob rule. That would mean basically Los Angeles County and the state of New York, if you go by just voting patterns, would pretty much be the cause of who wins the next presidential election. There's 20 million people in Los Angeles County. Now that's not the whole country. There's a lot more people in the country. The reason you have the Electoral College for the president is so that they have to be concerned with more regions of the country. They have to be more in touch with more regions of the country rather than just the cities on the coast. Because if you go by strictly popular vote, all you would have to do is go to the big cities on the coast and go there, pretty much. Now, it's not a rural versus urban issue. It is a resources or land versus population issue. And I'm sorry, well, here you go, Lindsay, you're right. We're a constitutional republic. We have our version that is strictly popular. That would be the House of Representatives. We have a version that's strictly state by state. That's the Senate. And the presidency is a mix of the two. And it's that way for a reason. And it's been, I don't know. There's people who want to change it, drive me nuts. Anyway. Okay, let's get out of this because I've been talking about this too long. Last couple things. Just a interesting poll from Gallup that came out. Poll, majority of Americans would not support a socialist candidate. That's interesting. Majority of Americans would not support a socialist candidate. A Gallup poll released Tuesday showed survey, which polled 1,030. Now, I always hate. It seems like, they only polled 1,033 results, but apparently polls are fairly accurate to a margin of error. So anyway, the survey, which polled 1,033 adults in January, asked respondents, between now and the 2020 political conventions, there will be discussion about the qualification of presidential candidates, their education, age, religion, race, and so on. If your party nominated a generally well-qualified person for president who happened to be one of those characteristics, would you vote for that person? Socialism is the only characteristic that garnered less than majority support, with only 45% indicating they could support a candidate who is socialist. A majority, 53%, said they would not back such a candidate. So that's interesting. Now, as far as all the other, now Democrats, 76%, Independents, 46%, Republicans 17%. So the independents are also not on board with the socialists. So could you, and if Bernie Sanders is the nominee, could he be painted as a socialist? Well, sure he could. And there's, democratic socialist, it's not the same. Well, it's socialist, whatever. And you honeymooned in Moscow. When it was still the Soviet Union. He said he was doing a sister city program, but how can you, when he got married, a sister city program, but it was the Soviet Union. We didn't have sister cities in the Soviet Union yet. We didn't have relationships with the Soviet Union. So how can you have a sister city program with the Soviet Union at the time you were married? Little inconsistencies. I don't know what the hell he's talking about. All right, I'm going to skip the Gallup poll. Finally, but we do have... Okay, I'm going to skip Van Jones too, because you all came here for one reason... and one reason only. And I know that what I'm talking about is not it. I know that you came here because it's Wednesday. And Wednesday is... Sorry, I didn't transition here. Wednesday is Jussie Wednesday. And yes, we do have news about everybody's favorite actor, Jussie Smollett. If you were asleep between last night and the time you got up this morning, Juicy has been indicted again. Oh my goodness. Jussie Smollett indicted by a special prosecutor on 6 counts related to false claim of hate crime attack. A special Cook County grand jury indicted actor Jussie Smollett on 6 new charges related to the alleged fake attack. Smollett faces charges of disorderly conduct, accusing him of filing false reports claiming he was the victim of a racist and homophobic attack last year. From CBS Chicago. In a statement, Special Prosecutor Dan Webb's office said Smollett filed 4 separate false police reports claiming he was the victim of a hate crime. The grand jury's investigation revealed that Jussie Smollett planned and participated in a staged hate crime attack and therefore made numerous false statements to Chicago Police Department officers on multiple occasions, reporting a heinous crime that he, in fact, knew had not occurred, Webb said in a statement. Cook County prosecutors last year dropped 16 disorderly conduct charges against Smollett just over a month after Chicago police accused him of orchestrating a hoax because he was upset with his salary on the TV show Empire. Judge Michael Tuman had Webb investigate the handling of the case by Cook County State Attorney Kim Fox's office and if Smollett should be further prosecuted. CBS Chicago reported Smollett will turn himself in on February 24th. Webb also found that Fox's office could not provide any evidence that they handled Smollett's case the same way as other similar cases. Well, so she could be in trouble. So here, another major factor in OSP's determination that further prosecution of Mr. Smollett is in the interest of justice is that the CCSAO has been unable to provide the OSP with documentary evidence that shows that in dismissing the Smollett case on the terms presented in court on March 26, 2019, the CCA, that's the Cook County State's Attorney's Office, by the way, relied on other dispositions of similar cases prior to the Smollett case that would justify this disposition. Yeah, she had lied through her teeth. Hey, Green Thunder to Mighty, good morning. I see you there. And also Patrice Ripley, Mitch the Ripper, and I think I'm caught up now. Okay. So anyway, let's see. These are just some tweets from the CWB Chicago. So they have the actual filing here. I'm not going to go through that now, but anyway, Jesse, I'm sorry, but you need to go back. Jesse, you need to go back to jail. Anyway, so, wow. The real hate crime was perpetrated against white guys and MAGA. I'm just reading the comments against white guys against MAGA hats. Well, yeah, and the real hate crime was against the public trust. I'm sorry. You know, I really... By the way, thank you to all the people who sent me this story. Yesterday when I saw this, I saw this pretty much right after it came out. And in fact, I'm looking through my book or my notifications here. Who was the first person to send me this? I think it was, let's see. It was on the hashtag. I'm positive. Hang on. Let me go to the hashtag here, PDK News. By the way, if you do have stories, you can always send them to me at hashtag PDK News, which is where a lot of my stuff goes. It was Twerkin Bear. Twerkin Bear sent me this story first. Thank you, Twerkin Bear, for getting that out to you. Several of you sent it to me, but Twerkin Bear got it to me first. Yeah, his family... Seeing as Jesse's family is associated with the Obamas. Yes, that's the truth. Well, yeah, in some ways, they've just had a lot of involvement with the Obamas. They've done performances for the Obamas. They and Michelle Obama, I'm pretty sure, called in a favor. I'm pretty sure that's how it happened. She either called it out. Oh yeah, and Fox was elected on Soros' dime. She's one of those. You know, Soros has been throwing money around, trying to get very, very progressive left-wing attorneys, states attorneys and attorneys generals and prosecuting attorneys in several states where they have elections on those types of offices. And so he's thrown a lot of money around and got different people elected, you know, in an area that the campaign finance laws are really, really lax as for that kind of thing. Sure, you have campaign finance laws for the president and national offices, but a lot of these local offices don't have those same laws. So he can go around and, for example, so Kim Foxx is one of the people he got elected. Also, I think the district attorney of Dallas, who decided that they are no longer going to prosecute property crimes that involve less than $800 worth of damage or loss. So someone could come in and steal your TV out of your house and maybe a bunch of other items. If they don't add up to a value of more than $800, they're not going to even prosecute it. So basically, they're just saying, okay, well, we don't have time for this. We're just gonna let these petty crimes go because these people probably needed the money. So anyway, it's just one of those crazy things. This is the article that Twerkin Bear sent to me. Jussie Smollett accused of lying to CPD, indicted on 6 counts of disorderly conduct. In a story Fox 32 News broke, former Empire actor Jussie Smollett was indicted Tuesday in Chicago by Special Prosecutor Dan Webb, stemming from the alleged racist... Uh-oh, what happened? Did my bell not work? Huh. None of it's working. Can you all hear me? I hope so. Let's see. You're all still there. Okay. That's weird. Is this not on? Oh, you know what? Yeah, I got this on here. Let's see here. Hang on a second. I'm not hearing anything. Well, whatever. Okay, my sound effects are in flux. Anyway, you got the gist of it. Jussie could be. Now, this is going to be interesting. Here's what's really going to be interesting about this. Oh, there it goes. Is that my bell? That was weird. Just out of nowhere, the bell rang. This is going to be very interesting because all this time, Jussie Smollett has been maintaining. Can hear you, but the view's better. Wait. Jussie Smollett has been maintaining his innocence completely through this whole thing. Now, the police have already fairly well established that this happened, and there's a whole lot of, information out in the public that tells you that Jussie Smollett's probably full of shit. Okay, but remember that one of the people on his team of lawyers was also one of the lawyers for O.J. Simpson. You can't make this up. And I think what they're going to do, they haven't responded to this particular indictment or set of indictments yet. And these are all felony indictments, just like before. Now, here's my prediction. The intro's playing? How's the intro playing? No, it's not. Anyway, here's my prediction. In their filing for their defense in the beginning, they are going to first try to make this a police misconduct case. Somebody said this yesterday too, that they're going to try to do a little Furman job on this. If you're not familiar with Furman, that's the officer they tried to destroy his reputation as being a racist in the O.J. Simpson case. They're going to try to say that this prosecution is just an overzealous attempt by police to smear the reputation of a gay and homosexual man, right? A black, gay, homosexual man. And that the police prosecution of this is just out of bounds. And they're going to try to find some way to make this about his race and his sexuality. Now, here's Jussie's problem as far as this goes. Jussie Smollett has pretty much used up the entire credit limit of his race card. And I don't think he has much room on it right now. Basically because this whole thing in the public perception looks ridiculous. Okay? Looks just insane. I'm sorry. He looks like a complete and utter moron, and I think everybody knows he's a complete and utter moron. Okay, now, one thing I wanted to see on here, I wanted to look at the replies from Rob Elgas. Now, Rob Elgas is a reporter for ABC 7 in Chicago, who also broke this story yesterday. And he was, let's see, so he says, this is his tweets. Actor Jussie Smollett indicted again in connection with 2019 attack. I wanted to see if there's anyone here who supports Jussie Smollett. Now, I noticed one of the first replies from when he's down here is this Erzan Fricka saying, WTF? Oh my God. Wait a minute. So up here, from Special Prosecutor Dan Webb's office, the Cook County Grand Jury returned a 6-count indictment charging Jussie Smollett with making 4 separate false police reports to the Chicago Police Department officers. IT reporter Chuck Loudy reports Jussie Smollett voluntarily turned him in on February 24th. From State's Attorney Kim Fox's office, as the Cook County State's Attorney's Office does in all cases, the special prosecutor reviewed facts, evidence, and the law and determined charges were appropriate in this matter. We are unable to comment further on them as the matter is pending. Yeah, they had to have a special prosecutor because the state's prosecutor didn't do their job. Now this lady, what the fuck, not happy with this apparently, and someone replies, what do you mean, what WTF? Are you one of the few Smollett believers? She did not answer. Down here, Zucker's eunuch. Hasn't he suffered enough? What's next? Bloomberg gonna throw up against a wall? Yeah, I don't know. Impossible. That's double jeopardy. Oh, they said bad legal takes. Take me now. I'm ready. Yeah, here's the problem. It's not double jeopardy. And the reason it's not double jeopardy is because there was never a trial. And they're giving him 6 new counts. But because it never went into a courtroom, it's not double jeopardy. Now some of it, people are happy. Let's go! Hell yeah, MAGA country. Oh, but someone here, the extremists are now in charge. What extremist? These people are psycho. What extremist? Says the person defending a fake hate crime. It was a fake hate crime. Oh my God, Juicy's attorneys. I feel like a Subway sandwich now. Oh good, everything else is fixed, so we have time to revisit it. That's my only problem with it. That's the only minor problem with it. If Jesse had a brain on him and his attorney, by the way, the attorney I was thinking of is Mark Garagos. Mark Garagos is one of his attorneys. If Mark Garagos is smart, he would just find a plea deal where Jesse pays a big fine and does actual community service as assigned by the court, not his stupid little stint with Jesse Jackson's Operation Push, which was like just a little cake stuff some envelopes job. So some people's charges should not have been dropped in the first place. A lot of time and money was spent on investigating this hoax. I don't know. Now this is a question for the threatening letter that went to the studio and required a hazmat response. I don't know. But there are actual people supporting this dude. Are we really surprised? Pretends to be shocked. Some people saying good. Don't beat yourself up about it. Now that's funny. That's funny. I don't care who you are. That's funny. That's some funny shit right there. Good. I can't believe how upset and angry I was when he first made the claims, and then to find out he faked the whole damn thing. So some people were, who supported him probably thinks, some people think that, they're mad that he fooled them. They should be mad. Anybody who believed this at the beginning should be mad, especially Robin Roberts. Y'all know who Robin Roberts is, right? Robin Roberts did the interview on was it NBC or whatever network she's on, and he up there acted like, this was all whatever. Anyway, I could play the Dave Chappelle show version of this for you, but I'm not going to. All right, I got a few more things before we get into Twitter trends. So let's get to that. I'm going to skip the Bernie one. Oh man, this one's the one that everyone got pissed off about yesterday. 4 federal prosecutors withdraw from the Roger Stone case amid turmoil over prison recommendation. 4 federal prosecutors with the U.S. Attorney's Office in Washington withdrew from Roger Stone's case on Tuesday amid turmoil surrounding a prison sentence recommendation for the longtime Trump confidant. Aaron Zelensky, who handled several of the most prominent cases in the special counsel's probe, and Jonathan Kravis, an assistant U.S. attorney in Washington, D.C., filed notices of their withdrawals with Judge Amy Berman Jackson, who oversaw Stone's trial. Prosecutors Adam Jett and Michael Mirando also withdrew. Zelensky said in his filing that he resigned effective immediately as a special U.S. assistant attorney for Washington, D.C. Hey, personally, don't let the door hit you in the ass. And I'll get to that in a minute. According to CNN, he remains a federal prosecutor for the U.S. Attorney's Office in Baltimore, where he worked before joining the special counsel's team in 2017. Yes, these guys were on Robert Mueller's special counsel team. These are a couple of the so-called, as Trump would put it, the angry Democrats that were helping to investigate Trump and put together the Mueller report. This is the I consider these guys the revenge squad, and apparently what happened is they were so. Roger Stone gets this guilty plea, and they're supposed to have sentencing guidelines, and the sentencing guidelines give you X to X years. These prosecutors decided to go with the, well, here, I'll read they decided to go with the as high as on the high end of what the jail time should be. And the president tweeted out something about that not being fair. Now, I don't know the actual sequence of events, but I do know that the Justice Department comes back and says, "Hey, wait a minute. You told us different. You told us a different recommendation than you actually gave to the judge, and so we're going to ask you to reduce that recommendation to more in the middle of the sentencing guidelines versus the high end." And these guys are mad now, because they want Roger Stone to rot in jail for as long as he can. The 67-year-old man who, yeah, maybe he should go to jail, maybe he shouldn't, although the president's hinted he might pardon him. I don't know if that's necessary, but, you know, if he does or doesn't, that's neither here nor there. But the Mueller team, Democrat attorneys, decide that they're going to really just give Roger the highest sentence they can. So here we go. Hours before the withdrawals, a senior Justice Department official told reporters that the agency plans to revise federal prosecutors' recommendation that Stone serve up to 9 years in prison on false statements and witness tampering charges. Federal prosecutors in Washington, D.C. recommended that Stone serve between 87 and 108 months in prison on the charges. President Donald Trump blasted the recommendation in a series of tweets early Tuesday morning and indicated he is considering a pardon for Stone. He called the recommendation disgraceful and said he cannot allow this miscarriage of justice. A Justice Department official issued a surprising rebuke of the D.C. Attorney's Office's recommendations, calling it extreme and excessive and grossly disproportionate. The official also said in the recommendation that the recommendation was not what had been briefed to the department. So now here's the thing. There has to be a record of that somewhere, because the Justice Department, and in particular William Barr, are being blasted by everybody on the left, including Nancy Pelosi, shocker, because of this change. And so if this, in fact, if the official who said that the recommendation was not what had been briefed to the department, hopefully they'll come out with a record of that showing that that is the case. Anyway, the Justice Department did not respond to a request for comment about the onslaught of withdrawals from Stone's case. Zelensky works on several components of the sprawling special counsel's probe. He was involved in the prosecution of former Trump campaign aide George Papadopoulos. In the Stone probe, Zelensky interviewed and investigated Randy Credico and Jerome Corsi, two of Stone associates who prosecutors suspected might have been a link between Stone and WikiLeaks. You know the funny thing about this case too? So Roger Stone apparently was, making some noise that, he knew that these WikiLeaks things were going to be coming out. What's really funny about that is, how most people found out that WikiLeaks was going to be dropping some bombshells on the Hillary Clinton campaign. That would be WikiLeaks. Everyone knew they were coming out. They were tweeting about it, how they had information that's going to be coming out that's going to be surprising you about Hillary Clinton and her campaign, right? And the DNC, WikiLeaks told everybody that. So if you spent any time on the internet or even followed WikiLeaks, which I did at the time, I knew they were coming out with stuff. I didn't know what they were coming out with, but I certainly knew they were going to be coming out with something that does not look good for Hillary Clinton. They told us that. So for Roger Stone to have told somebody that, knowing that, Perhaps Roger Stone followed WikiLeaks on Twitter, because that's all you had to do. Everybody who followed WikiLeaks knew that something big was coming regarding Hillary Clinton and her campaign and the DNC. So, you know, but they've made this a big conspiracy, and now they're going to put Roger Stone in jail. Interesting. But, hey, of course, Nancy Pelosi is also chiming in, of course. Breaking, Nancy Pelosi accuses Trump of political interference, calls for a new investigation. Shocker. In fact, that gets a... Wow. I finally got that on here, too. The tweet by Donald Trump engaged in political interference and sentencing of Roger Stone. It is outrageous that the DOJ has a deeply damaged rule of law by withdrawing its recommendation. Stepping down of prosecutors should be commended, and actions of the DOJ should be investigated. Moments ago, Nancy Pelosi accused President Trump of political interference in sentencing of Roger Stone and called for a new investigation. Per The Hill, Pelosi was originally referring to Trump quoting reporters' tweets, calling it a very unfair miscarriage of justice and a ridiculous 9-year sentence recommendation. However, less than 10 minutes after Pelosi's tweet was sent, Trump sent a tweet attacking the prosecutors. Trump tweeted, "Who are the 4 prosecutors? Mueller people, who cut and ran after being exposed for recommending a ridiculous 9-year prison sentence to a man that got caught up in an investigation that was illegal. The Mueller scam and shouldn't ever have started. 13 angry Democrats, ? Stone was convicted in November of 7 counts of obstructing and lying to Congress and witness tampering related to his efforts to provide the Trump campaign inside information about WikiLeaks in 2016 that the entire public already knew about. Just saying. Prosecutors recommended 7 to 9 years in prison as a punishment. Representative Gerald Nadler, chair of the House Judiciary Committee, denounced the DOJ's decision, adding that the committee will get to the bottom of this. Yay! More investigations! Yay! Oh, whatever. Anyway, there's more stuff going on. Well, let's see. We'll do one more before we get into Twitter trends. Let's see. Actually, I got 2. I got 3. Oh my God. 4. All right, let's see. We're going to do a lightning round. We're going to do a lightning round before we get into Twitter trends, because these are all very interesting. So, open corruption. Apparently, here, let's get this on full screen. If there's not already a law against the Biden family self-dealing, there should be. It's not unique, and the fact that it's met with a shrug by many of our lawmakers suggests a much bigger problem in their attitude about public service. So, a big part of the impeachment brouhaha was a concern about corruption. Allegedly, President Trump's call asking Ukrainians to look into the Bidens and their shady business dealing was corrupt because it had the potential to benefit Trump politically. The chatterglasses, including those on the left and the Never Trump Republicans, have been remarkably incurious about Ukraine and the surprising extensive dealings of American political figures and their children in that country. In Senator Mitt Romney's pious speech justifying his impeachment vote, he addressed the Bidens' underlying behavior in a cursory fashion. With regards to Hunter Biden taking excessive advantage of his father's name is unsavory, but also not a crime. Well, guess what? Mitt Romney's son is also, has guys over there. Anyway, given that neither the case of the father nor the son was any evidence presented by the president's counsel that a crime had been committed, the president's insistence that they be investigated by the Ukrainians is hard to explain other than it's a political pursuit. There's no question in my mind that were their names not Biden, the president would never have done what he did. Well, no shit. If Hunter Biden wasn't the vice president's son, we probably would never know about it. Senator Romney, you numbnuts. Of course, if his name wasn't Biden, you never would have done what he did. Because that wouldn't have been corruption. They would have had some other schmo who didn't have someone in the government. But That happened while Joe Biden was the vice president, you idiot. Duh. Whether what Joe and Hunter Biden did was a crime is somewhat irrelevant. It's undeniably corrupt. It is part and parcel of a pattern of corruption among the elite. Their corruption influenced American policy in the region. And the fact that this is all just business as usual is the problem. Hunter Biden was not alone in Ukraine. It seems a lot of politically connected Americans have cashed in there since the American-supported coup in the region. These include Democratic lobbyist Tony Podesta, who's not in jail, former Trump campaign manager, Paul Manafort, who is in jail, former CIA officer and Bush State Department official Cofer Black, former National Security Advisor John Bolton, U.S. Representative Adam Schiff, among others. It's part of a pattern. Yeah, you wonder why? You wonder why Adam Schiff is going so hard after Trump? He's got his own fingers in Ukraine. It's just part of a pattern. In a general sense, the elite looks out for itself and has pulled up the ladders from outsiders' aspirants to wealth and power. The old American ideals of meritocracy and mobility have given way to significant barriers to entry and self-perpetuating schemes where the children, wives, and close associates of political and financial elites are able to obtain significant wealth simply because of the good fortune of their connections at birth. This is not only unsavory, as Romney would say, it's un-American. Moreover, it's demoralizing for a country that purports to be the land of opportunity for all citizens. Look, here's the deal. If you're part of the government and you're dealing with some country and all of a sudden someone in your family is making money from that country and all of a sudden that country does something that helps you out or you help them out or whatever, that's got to be some dirty dealings and it should be investigated. Thank you, United States Senate, for investigating it. I'm moving on. Also, remember the guy who rammed the vehicle into the people of the GOP tent down in Florida? Well, now he has told the police why he did it. A man accused of ramming a vehicle into a tent full of Republican volunteers in Florida over the weekend has reportedly told law enforcement that he did so because someone had to take a stand. The alleged 27-year-old alleged assailant. He's probably 27-year-old, but he's allegedly an assailant. Anyway, whom the Daily Wire is not identifying, was arrested hours after police said his van plowed through the tent, narrowly missing volunteers who were set up in the parking lot of a Walmart superstore at the corner of Atlantic and Keenan Boulevards about 3:50 p.m. on Saturday. He's accused of 2 counts of aggravated assault on a person over 65 years old, criminal mischief, and driving without a license. The Jacksonville Sheriff's Office said that the suspect hated President Donald Trump and decided to carry out the attack because someone had to take a stand. Wow, have you heard much about this in the news? Have you heard this rolling along the CNN Chiron or MSNBC or ABC or NBC or on the front of the New York Times? Could you imagine? In fact, we still talk about Heather Heyer to this day, right? An attempted murder with a vehicle. Have you heard about this other than in conservative media? I wonder why. Do you think if this was a Trump supporter who attempted to run over some people in a parking lot who were trying to get Democrats to come out and vote for Amy Klobuchar, do you think for 1 minute we wouldn't be hearing about this guy every single day? I just want some consistency. Just some consistency. That's all I care about. Consistency. Please, consistency. And finally, that's not finally, 2 more. This one. Apparently, the IRS sent $46,378,040 in refunds to 23,944 unauthorized aliens at one Atlanta address. The Internal Revenue Service sent 23,994 tax refunds worth a combined $46 million to unauthorized alien workers who all used the same address in Atlanta, Georgia in 2011, according to the Treasury Inspector General for the Tax Administration. This is so stupid. Unbelievable. But again, that was not the only Atlanta address theoretically used by thousands of unauthorized alien workers receiving millions in federal tax refunds in 2011. In fact, according to the TIGTA audit report published last year, 4 of the top 10 addresses to which IRS sent thousands of tax refunds to unauthorized aliens were in Atlanta. The IRS sent 11,284 refunds worth a combined $2,164,976 to unauthorized alien workers at a second Atlanta address. 3,608 worth $2,691,448 to a third address, and 2,386 worth $1,232,943 to a fourth address. Other locations on the IG's top 10 list for singular addresses that were theoretically used simultaneously by thousands of unauthorized alien workers include addresses in all these other cities. So they're sending out refunds. They're sending out tax refunds to, unauthorized aliens. They said, look at it, $46 million in refunds to one address, 23,994 freaking separate refunds to one address. Do they? Okay. Here's why I wanted. The reason I featured this is I believe it's time for the IRS to upgrade their computer systems. Jeez. And finally, my last story before we get to Twitter trends. Remember that movie, The Hunt? There was a trailer for the movie called The Hunt, and it was the Hunt, the deplorables versus the elites. It was a horror movie where apparently a bunch of I don't know what the word is. A bunch of elite liberals decided that they were going to hunt hicks who kind of resembled Trump supporters, right? And everyone got up in arms because they were going to have this hunt, and the hicks, the special people were going to hunt down these hicks in this game, right? And they were using the hicks in the game. And everyone got up in arms because everyone was pissed that, that this was the theme of the movie, that they're trying to, saying it's okay to hunt down Trump supporters. But in reality, if you really paid attention to the trailer, the heroes in the movie were actually the hicks, or the deplorables, so to speak. Anyway, that movie is back. The Hunt, Deplorables vs. Elites horror movie gets a March release date after being canceled. The Hunt is officially uncanceled. The horror movie, which tells the story of a group of wealthy elites that kidnaps and hunts normal folk from middle America for sport, will be released in cinemas in an about face for Universal, which shelved the movie indefinitely last year following mass shootings in El Paso and Dayton. Universal announced that the movie will open March 13th, 6 months after the studio yanked the movie from its schedule. Blumhouse production stars Hilary Swank as the ringleader who organized the hunt, as well as Ike Barinholtz, Amy Madigan, Emma Roberts, and Ethan Suplee. The new trailer for the movie debuted online Tuesday. Unlike last year's trailer that promoted the movie as a darkly humorous smackdown between liberals and deplorables, the new spot plays up the layers of ambiguity in the narrative, suggesting that not everything is as it seems. I'm not going to watch the trailer, but when I watch this, this is the cancellation when Trump weighed in, saying liberal Hollywood is racist at the highest level and with great anger and hate. They like to call themselves elite, but they are not elite. In fact, it is often the people that they so strongly oppose that are actually the elite. The movie come out is made in order to inflame and cause chaos. They create their own violence and then try to blame others. They are the true racists and very bad for our country. But there was a lot of uproar about this because everyone thought this was a movie celebrating the hunting down of deplorables. And in fact, I believe the deplorables, so to speak, are actually the good guys in this movie. So there you go. MC. I don't know. The reason I found this story is because this says, I know you're asking about the 46 million to illegal aliens, but Sophie actually pointed out that this movie was coming back on, and he thought it was great and whatnot. But he knew too at the time. I laughed at the time with him because it was ambiguous who the good guys were in this movie. And I know you weren't referring to this movie, but anyway. All right, let's check out what's happening in the world. What's happening on Twitter trends? What things are people talking about right now? What will they be making videos about later? And what's happening, right? Twitter trends, that's good for that. Before I get into that, a couple quick things. First of all, thank you, Cat Scratch the Diabolical, who also tweeted out the show. Also, Dade Lee Murphy, who at least gave me a like. I appreciate that. And I got pediatrician says suicide note. He may not have vaccinated. Oh, okay. Real quick. This is on the hashtag. We'll get this one right now because I want to make sure I hit my hashtag, which is hashtag PDK News. And this is thank you to David Schoen. I see. Jedi Ghost Bear. That's Jedi Ghost Bear. You're on Twitter. You're David Schoen. I think. Yes, Jedi Ghost Bear. Okay. This is rich. Pediatrician says in suicide note he may not have vaccinated kids despite parents' requests. Oh, great. Evergreen Park, Illinois. Illinois health officials have issued a notice to families who were patients of Dr. Van Coynes in Evergreen Park. Coynes, 58, took his own life in September. In his suicide note, he revealed he may not have administered vaccines to children at their parents' request. His note indicated he felt terrible guilt over the way he handled some children's vaccinations going back a decade. Investigators said it's not clear who was properly vaccinated and who wasn't, since there were record-keeping issues. Although his records are in disarray, in some cases it appears that Coynes may not have vaccinated children even though parents had asked him to. The Cook County Sheriff's Department is urging parents and families of former patients to call a medical record line that has been set up at this number. So they are also urged to contact their new pediatrician. That's so bad. That is so bad. God, I know some people are skeptical about vaccines and whatnot, but in the long run, we have, I don't know, there's a lot of myths out there. Look, if there's one thing that I still appreciate Jeff Holiday for, is he has decided that his biggest topic that he likes to talk about is vaccinations. And he's done a lot of research. He's done all kinds of, he even went on Dr. Phil talking about vaccinations. Watch some of his video on vaccinations. You don't have to listen to him on Twitter, or if you like him on Twitter. On Twitter, he's just still shit posts. He just shits posts a different way than he used to. Even though he got banned from Twitter and has an alternative handle. But his videos on vaccinations, I think, are very good, and I agree with him on a lot of that stuff. That's really bad, man. That's just, well, he already killed himself. You can't even put him in jail for it. But anyway, all right, Twitter trends. Let's get in on the Explore tab today. At the top, what you need to know about the New Hampshire primary, the Reuters article. What I need to know is that Elizabeth Warren probably isn't going to be in the race much longer. Let's see what they come up with, though. Bernie Sanders led New Hampshire Democratic primary, and Joe Biden trailed badly as the famously independent, unpredictable state held the first primary in the 2020 election season, the first contest since the messy Iowa caucuses. And then they have different things. Buttigieg finished second. Amy Klobuchar finished third, according to Edison Research. At more than 40% of registered voters, New Hampshire's independents could have a big influence in the Democratic Party. Okay. Tonight I want to thank the people of New Hampshire for this great victory. Senator Bernie Sanders thanks supporters in the New Hampshire primary victory speech. And shortly after the polls closed, New Hampshire businessman Andrew Yang suspended his bid for the Democratic nomination following live results because he pretty much didn't show up. So the Bernie Bros are very happy. The Joe Hoes not so much, and Mrs. Poe, as in Cajantas, may not be around for much longer. All right, going into trends today. Trending number one on Twitter right now is, of course, something having to do with K-pop. K-pop. Yeah, it's a pock on your house. K-pop, a fourth look at 7. Apparently, who are those guys? Anyway, Kim Tae-young, a man with multiple flavors, carries all the concepts like a pro. He is literally the definition of perfection. Okay, here is perfection for you. He's looking awfully special, and these very artistic photos. Lots of makeup and very fine tailored suits. And that's my K-pop update. We're moving on. Trending number 2 is Wednesday Wisdom, because we always have to have a day trend, and today the first day trend would be Wednesday Wisdom. So let's check out who has some Wednesday Wisdom. Someone named Yellowstone NPS, National Park Service. Hey, this is a good Wednesday Wisdom. Always pack extra food, waters, and layers when visiting in winter. On days with winter storms, it doesn't hurt to bring your imagination too. Now, I don't know what this is supposed to be. That's why you need to bring your imagination, because that's all you can see. And there's 2 little picnic tables and a lot of white stuff, meaning it's a winter day in the old Yellowstone. Okay. that's actually kind of funny now that I'm looking at it really closely. It's just 2 little picnic tables and all white. So I guess that's snow in Yellowstone. Let's see. Ben Malky has Wednesday Wisdom. All your days have already been written in God's book. When you go through a disappointment, don't stop on that page. Stay the course. Keep believing. You may be tired, discouraged, frustrated, but don't give up on your future. Our God is faithful. All right, there you go. That's a nice little Wednesday Wisdom. Tumalo Manguape. Do you think you can do this? We come into Pretoria. Meet Boxmaster WP. Secure your ticket. Okay, a little boxing, what do you call it? Synchronized boxing for health and athleticism. So there you go. This big dude's got it going, though, doesn't he? Look at him go. He ain't messing around. He's got that big body moving. Good for him. All right. Anyway, let's move on. Mel Tucker's trending number 3. Mel Tucker to become the new head coach at Michigan State. The Athletic reports. He's a Tybo. Yeah, remember Tybo? That was great. So the University of Colorado coach, Mel Tucker, has agreed in principle to become the new head coach at Michigan State University. Per sources, after Tucker turned down initial interest, MSU power brokers came back repeatedly to Tucker's reps with an offer that was impossible to ignore. So they're going to give him some big money. The Michigan State University is about to get a black football coach. Good for him. Here's his record. Mel Tucker was Georgia. He was with Georgia with Mississippi State with Saban in the late 90s. Defensive back coach with D'Antonio at Ohio State. NFL defensive coach experience, reunited with Saban at Alabama in 2015. Kirby Smart's defensive coordinator at Georgia, secured a top 35 recruiting class in 2020 at Colorado. So good for him. Good look. Oh, dude, but this guy's saying Mel Tucker is a con man. He recruited my grandson to go to CU, said he wasn't going anywhere, then ups and leaves, sat there and lied to my face he wasn't going anywhere, so I want to beat him up today on social media. What else can I do? That's Drew Pearson. Now, you know who Drew Pearson is. Former Cowboy, Ring of Honor, Super Bowl champion, and I'm pretty sure he's in the Football Hall of Fame. Or is he? I don't know. He should be. He was a great receiver. Wow. He has some bad words for Mel Tucker. Now, again, with Billy Banks. Yeah, Billy Banks. That's who did Tybo. The actor Billy Banks. He's the guy who shot himself in, what's that movie? The Last Boy Scout? He ran the football down the field and then shot himself in the head at the end of the run. That was kind of a shocking beginning of a movie. That movie that was the weirdest beginning of a movie because Billy Banks, had some time as a leading man, kind of in some B movie kind of karate flicks and stuff. So when I saw him being the running back at the beginning of that movie, I'm like, dude, this is interesting. It's a movie with Billy Banks in it, but he was gone within the first 45 seconds of the movie. So kind of weird. Hello, Richo. Good morning. How you doing? Moving on, that's enough wisdom for today. And Mel Tucker, Wes Anderson is trending. First trailer for The French Dispatch is here. This is that movie that has a whole bunch of stars in it, and apparently they've got Wes Anderson's the director. This is a movie with a lot of stars in it. I don't know what it's about. It has a little retro feel to it, but I'm not going to show you the trailer because I just don't have time. Check that out if you get a chance. Myles Garrett reinstated after hitting Steelers QB with a helmet. With a helmet. Remember that? They got in a little scuffle near the end zone, and the guy ripped his the quarterback's helmet off and tried to hit him with it, and he got suspended indefinitely. Well, they are reinstating him so he can rejoin the active roster in the upcoming season. Hopefully he's learned his lesson. That was a whole mess. Both of them got fined for the fight. And in fact, the quarterback, I can't remember his name, but he got fined more because he initiated the fight, threw some punches, threw some dirty shit. But the helmet got Myles Garrett suspended, and that was absolutely appropriate. Wednesday Thoughts will skip. To All the Boys is trending numbers 8. Something about celebrities. Movies, To All the Boys, P.S. I Still Love You is out on Netflix. That's going to be a Netflix movie. I'm going to go ahead and skip that. Sarah Sanders is trending because she said something about Bernie Sanders, and now everyone's pissed off at her. The Foo says the same people who spent years mercifully attacking the way Sarah Sanders looks are mad at others for noticing Ashley Judd's face looks really strange and swollen. Okay, I don't know what that's about. I doubt if Sarah Sanders said anything about that. Oh, and this person says, well, Sarah Sanders wasn't criticized for any aspect of her appearance over which she had no control. You know what, Missy, Sarah, whatever your name is, True Blue Patriot, you still criticized her looks, whether she had control of it or not, you dumbasses. Anyway, she was criticized for her snotty attitude, which showed in her face, especially when she was lying or putting people down, which was most of the time. Okay, whatever. Sarah Sanders, though, said Bloomberg will have a serious problem with women and African Americans. She also says his language is offensive and atrocious. Well, she did. Now, come on. She did work for Donald Trump. Just saying. I mean, but you know what? Bloomberg would have the same problem, but that's why people are dragging her. Michael Steele says, okay, let's try this. Sarah Sanders says Donald Trump will have serious problems with women and African Americans. She also says his language is offensive and atrocious. Now that's believable. Okay, yep, Donald Trump is a jackass, and he's the best jackass. So there you go. No argument here, but lots of people are ripping Sarah Sanders for how she looks and what she said about Michael Bloomberg. All right, moving on. That's why she's trending. And she's Sarah Sanders. She will trend. Bob Mueller's trending also because of a Donald Trump tweet. Congratulations to Attorney General Bill Barr for taking the charge of a case that was totally out of control. Perhaps should not have been brought. Evidence now clearly shows that Mueller's scam was improperly brought and tainted. Even Mueller lied to Congress. Now people are dragging him about Mueller lying to Congress, saying, "Oh, are you accusing Robert Mueller of lying? Are you?" Well, Technofog with the very next tweet on this top of this topic. Did Bob Mueller lie during his testimony? Mueller denied his May 29th press conference had anything to do with a May 29 court order in the Russian troll case. However, his press conference statement, pick number 3, directly followed the instructions of the court's order. And here's what he's highlighting. McClintock, here we go. Here's the question from McClintock. Did your May 29th press conference have anything to do with the fact that the previous day the judge threatened to hold your prosecutors in contempt for misrepresenting evidence? If you remember what this is, this was, oh gosh, what is it? Let's see. Well, here, let's go up here. In fact, the judge considered holding prosecutors in criminal contempt. She backed off only after you hastily called a press conference the next day in which you retroactively made the distinction between the Russian government and the Russian troll farms. Did your press conference on May 29th have anything to do with the threat to hold prosecutors in contempt the previous day for publicly misrepresenting the evidence? And Mueller answers no. Well, over here we have ordered that the government shall refrain from making or authorizing any public statement that links the alleged conspiracy in the indictment to the Russian government or its agencies. Ordered that the extent the government makes or authorizes any public statement about the allegations in the indictment, such statement must make clear that 1. The government is summarizing the allegations in the indictment, which remain unproven. 2, the government does not express an opinion on the defendant's guilt or innocence or the strength of the evidence in this case. And so then we come here. At the same time as the grand jury alleged in a separate indictment, a private Russian entity engaged in a social media operation where Russian citizens posed as Americans in order to influence an election. These indictments contain allegations, and we are not commenting on the guilt or innocence of any specific defendant. Every defendant is presumed innocent unless and until proven guilty, which they had priorly made, the Muellers was saying that they just assumed that he was guilty, whatever. I think it's time for Bob Mueller to come out and say what you should have said when he delivered his report, that Donald Trump did commit the crime of obstruction of justice, and that if he could, he would have charged him with that crime and finally finished the job he started. Yeah, except Robert Mueller has no idea because he didn't write a report or investigating anything himself. So a lot of people are saying Bob Mueller should come out and say whatever he needs to say to get Trump in trouble and so on and so forth, whatever. Ashley Judd's trending because somebody apparently, I don't know what's going on with Ashley Judd. She's trending. She's not dead, so Denzel can rest easy. Not a fan of Ashley Judd's politics, but will be saying a prayer for her. If reports are true and her appearance is changing due to steroids treating a chronic illness, that's not fun or a laughing matter. Let's all pray she heals up quickly. So over here, I saw Ashley Judd is trending because her face is puffier due to medications for a chronic illness. You're assholes for mocking anyone experiencing physical changes from an illness, and also, she's an absolute beauty. Please post pics of your face when mocking another. You know what? If people are mocking Ashley Judd for that kind of shit, well, fuck them. You know, FTG. You know, and I don't know where the Sarah Sanders things came in. But, you know, who's mocking her? Dean Cain. Oh, okay. So Dean Cain. Dean Cain, don't do that. Dean Cain passive-aggressively attacked Ashley Judd's swollen face due to prednisone. Maybe the failed football player and washed-up double-chin-eating cheeseburger actor sweep under his own back porch. Well, if he did that, then he should have done that, and that's bullshit, Dean Cain. And even though Ashley Judd's a terrible human being. But I don't care, you know, whatever. Don't criticize her when she's has that issue. God, that's bad. All right, moving on. Finally, let's wrap this up. Dutch media reports that Chelsea are close to a deal for Ajax star Hakim Ziyech. If you're a soccer fan, Cole Hamels eager to fill leadership void. The young Braves staff. He's going from the Cubs to the Braves. Jared Dyson, probably another baseball player going somewhere new. He's going to the Diamondbacks, it looks like. So, be afraid, NFL pitching staffs. Be very afraid. He's Dyson with the D-backs. Oh, no, is he moving? No, yeah, he's going to be, anyway, that's some baseball shit. I don't know. And Zed is trending. Who is Zed? Friendly reminder that Rita Repulsa and Lord Zed were joined in unholy matrimony 25 years ago today. That's amazing that we get a little games, a little game history there. Zed got married at 25 years old. Okay, whatever. Hello, Jen T. How you doing? I think that's everybody. Let's see here. Did I say hi to Richo? I did say hi to Richo. Okay. Football HC, whatever the hell that is. Why would he leave? Oh, a head coach. Why would he leave the NFL to coach a mid-tier college team when he's about to be a NFL head coach? Oh, the Chiefs' offensive coordinator suggested as an ideal. Oh, because they're looking for a head coach at the University of Colorado, and they're suggesting Eric Bieniemy, who's offensive coordinator at the Chiefs. I don't think. I mean, that is his alma mater. I don't know if he wants to be the head coach at Colorado when he's got an NFL job, and probably will have a NFL head coaching job soon. Much more prestigious to be an NFL head coach. Let's see. Move Mojito. I'm going to skip it. Buffs. They're trying to figure out who's going to be the coach of the Buffaloes of Colorado. Wednesday Vibes. Abraham Lincoln's trending with Lincoln's birthday. Is that today? And it's only trending 19. Abraham Lincoln was a Federalist that opposed the power and corruption of corporations. The Southern Democrats, KKK, joined the Republican Party when the Republican Party kicked out the Rockefellers in the 1960s. History matters. Republican revision. This shit sucks. This is the old party switch thing, right? Well, if you buy a company that's deeply in debt, you own the debt, baby. If they switched, you still own the debt. And whatever. In Westfield, New York, one of the finest statues of Abraham Lincoln commemorating 1861 meeting with 11-year-old Grace Bedell. Inauguration train stopped here so he could meet with Bedell, who weeks prior wrote Abe asking him to grow a beard to improve his chances of winning an election. Wow, that's cute. America will never be destroyed from the outside. If we falter and lose our freedoms, it will be because we destroyed ourselves. Abraham Lincoln, born in the state and currently looking down from heaven, deeply concerned. So it is Abraham Lincoln's official birthday, even though you do a President's Day thing somewhere down the road here. But we used to celebrate Washington and Lincoln's birthday. Oh, God. And then we have the requisite anti-Trumper bitching about Trump on Lincoln's birthday. If only Trump followed the party of Lincoln instead of creating his own dictatorship, America would be the country that our founders dreamed it would be. Abraham Lincoln, dump Trump.
Wow.
We the people, rightful masters of both Congress and the courts, not to overthrow the Constitution, but to overthrow the men who pervert the Constitution. That's an Abraham Lincoln quote. So happy birthday, Mr. President. Finally finishing number 20. Now, it's funny because on most given days, there is not a 20th Twitter trend when you click the explore tag, hashtag, whatever, explore tag. Today, there is a number 20, though, and thanks to the Twitter powers that be, number 20 is Bernie won New Hampshire. Well, let's see. Not Me, Us canvases broke all records in New Hampshire for Bernie Sanders. A look back at one small team of many from our Rights New Hampshire affiliate and our victory last night. Now, this is hilarious. I don't know that they should be touting that they broke records in New Hampshire for canvassing. Because if they broke records in New Hampshire for canvassing, but still only barely beat a unknown mayor from a small town in Indiana by less than a couple thousand votes and tied for delegate, it's a tie. It doesn't matter in the primary if you have more votes. It matters how many delegates you come out with, and they both came out with the same number of delegates in the end. So they tied. This is Bernie Sanders, who is from the state next door and who was dominant in New Hampshire in 2016. And he musters a tie with the unknown mayor. And actually, Klobuchar wasn't that far behind either. Well, she kind of was, but she was still third. This is y'all are crowing about this. You should be worried. And with the turnout didn't even match 2016's turnout. So, great. Bernie won Iowa. Bernie won New Hampshire. On to Nevada, another caucus state where the Democrats can do whatever they want, kind of. I don't know if the Nevada caucuses work the exact same way as Iowa's, but whatever. And the Iowa caucuses, I don't have a problem with how they do it. It's like, basically, they take what you call the ranked choice voting, and they put it into a live situation. It's live ranked choice voting. If your first candidate doesn't do well, you can go choose another candidate. And that's what they did. And unfortunately, a lot of those people chose Buttigieg. Now, there's still some shenanigans going on in Iowa, but enough of them chose Buttigieg to put him in the mix, in it close enough to be a tie in Iowa. And actually, Buttigieg came out of Iowa with more delegates because of the coin flips. So there you go. Good luck, Bernie Sanders fans. Good luck in a general election if Bernie's your nominee too. I say a landslide popular vote as far as I'm concerned. That's my guess. I'm just saying that's just my 2 cents, and then I'm sticking to it. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for me to go. Thank you so much for being here. You know, I never even looked to see how many people were here, but I know there were quite a few. Thanks for coming and joining me today on the Morning Night Live. As you know, we're here from 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central, 3 p.m. GMT, Monday through Friday. If you haven't done so already, please hit that thumbs up button right down there before you go. That is the like button. And Duck Dog, if you haven't done it yet, you know what to do. And if you would be so kind, especially if you're watching this after the fact, watching a replay, make sure you share this stream out. Even after the fact, you can share the stream out by hitting the share arrow or retweeting me on Twitter. On Twitter, I am at PDawg Night. Okay, and please, if you are watching this on the replay, make a comment in the comment section so that I know you were here and I can acknowledge you too. Also, financial support you can do through Streamlabs and the link down below. Also, those super chats are always read on the air, whether you do them during the live show or during off hours. So I gotta go though, because that's what I do at this time of the day every day. Thank you for being here, everybody. I appreciate you all so much for joining me today. My name is PDawg Night, and I'm out of here. Goodbye. Hey, this is PDawg Night, and thank you for watching today on the PDawg Night channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterward so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through the Streamlabs link, which is also in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm PDawg Night, and I'm out of here.